Hello, friends of Sudoku. I think I just found time to do the New York Times hard Sudoku. Today is October 26th, 2022. Let's plug in a 9 here, shall we? Because of the 9 here and here. That's where it needs to go. Have a look at the 1, 2, and 8 here. We need to find homes for a 1, 2, and an 8 for these three cells, don't we? 1, 2, and 8 will have to go in these three cells. So these cells need to be a 3, 6, and a 9. And there's a 6 here and a 9 here, so the 3 clearly needs to go here. And the 3 here, and the 3 here puts a 3 in this cell, like so. So these two cells now will have to be a 6 and a 9, don't they? And given the 9 here and the 9 here, we now know that this cell will have to be a 9. And of course, the 3 here and the 3 here puts a 3 rather in this cell. And certainly this 6 and the 6 here and the 6 in the bottom row puts a 6 in this cell. And we can easily find a 1 for the second row, can't we? Because of the 1 here and the 1 here. A 1 needs to go in this cell or in this cell, but it can't go in this cell because of the 1 here. And now that we have this 1 and the 1 here and this 1, this cell now must be a 1. And remember our initial 1, 2, and 8 that needed to go in these three cells. Now that we have this 1, and we know that this cell cannot be an 8 because of the 8 in the corner, this now must be a 2, and this must be an 8. And since one of these two cells will have to be a 6, the other, of course, will have to be a 9, and we have this 6 up here. That tells us that a 6 for this row will go in this cell. We got the 6 here and here, right? So we now have a ghost 6 in these two cells, and we have a 6 up here. Now we need to find a 6 for these two cells, and that's easy enough because of the 6 here. And of course, this 6 and this 6 and this 6 gives us the 6 for column 4. The 2 now here prevents a 2 from going here, of course, and therefore it must go here because that's the only available empty cell in this 3 by 3 box. And that means that the 5 will go here to complete the 1 through 9 digits for the box. Now the 5 here and here puts us 5 in this cell, and the last cell here is going to be a 7, like so. This now must be a 1 because of the 1 here, and therefore this cell must be an 8. Now we have 6 and 9 here, and we have 4 and 7 for these two cells. We need to find an 8 to complete this column 4, and there's an 8 already in the top row that can see this cell. Ergo, this cell must be an 8, and the last digit here is going to be a 2. Now the 2 here and the 2 here forces a 2 in one of these two cells, and in combination with the 2 here, we now know that this cell must be a 2. And because of this 2 now, we know that the 2 here and here gives us the 2 for this column, like so. Of course, we still need to enter a 7 in this cell because it's the last empty cell in the column. A 5 and an 8 needs to be found for these two cells, and there's an 8 already here. Therefore, this cell must be a 5, and this must be an 8. I think we can find an easy 3 because of the 3 here, here, and here. The 3 must go in this cell. And the last digit here is going to be a 5. The 4, 7, and 9 that we are still missing for these 3 empty cells, they elude me for the time being. We'll get back to them very soon. Clearly, the 3 remaining cells here will have to be a 2, 4, and a 9. Since we have a 2 and a 9 in this column that can see this cell, this must be a 4, and these two must be a 2 and a 9. These 3 cells will have to be a 1, 5, and a 7. We have a 1 and a 7 here, therefore this cell must be a 5. And these two now have to be a 1 and a 7. Now the 2 and the 3 here, and the 2 and the 3 here, force a 2 and a 3 in these 3 cells in some order. And since we have a 2 and a 3 here in these 2 cells, we know now that this cell will have to be a 2 or a 3, and this cell will also have to be a 2 or a 3, leaving a 4 and an 8 for this cell and for this cell. And quite conveniently, we have the 4 here, and we have the 4 here, and that puts a 4 in this cell, and therefore we know that this cell will have to be an 8. Now the 8 here and here, and the 8 here puts an 8 in this cell like so. Since we found the 8 here, and we have this 8, and we have the 8 up here in the corner still, we know that this cell must be an 8. These 2 empty cells are still at 2 and a 9, aren't they? Now I think we need to turn our attention towards column 2, for which we still need a 4, 5, and a 7. There's a 4 and a 5 here in this row that can see this cell, and therefore this must be a 7. And the 7 here and here puts, of course, a 7 in this cell. Now these 2 cells will have to be a 9 or a 4, a 9 and a 4 rather, and since there's a 4 already in the row, the 9 will go here and the 4 here, and we remember that these 2 cells had to be a 2 and a 9, right? Now we know that the 9 here makes this one a 2 and this one a 9. The 9 here, here, and down here puts a 9 in the corner cell, like so. And now we know how to distribute the 9 and the 6 for these 2 cells. The 9 will go here and the 6 will go here. Now we've got a 6 here, here, and here, and here, and that gives us this 6. Very easy, nothing really to think about. This cell up here must be a 5 because that's the last number missing from the row. Now we got a 5 here, here, and we need to find a 5 for one of these 3 cells, and we have a 5 here and here. So that makes this cell a 5. The 2, 3, and a 4 for these 3 cells, well, we've got a 3 here. That makes this cell a 3, of course. And the 3 here and here puts the 3 in this cell because of the 3 up here. Now the last cell here has got to be a 2. And that fixes the 2 that we would have here. And the last cell here is going to be a 4. And therefore this cell must be a 4. And this cell must be a 4. The remaining cell here is a 7, making this a 7. And this a 1, and a 1, and a 7. I think that you would agree that this wasn't really a hard puzzle, was it? Anyway, if you want to, like an Übermensch, you can solve puzzles like this very easily and you can feel very satisfied. I hope you enjoyed the puzzle and I hope to see you back here again soon. Bye for now.